Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something many of us know firsthand, maybe even from last night. Why do our cats, our feline friends, choose to sleep with us? And what does that really mean?
It's such a familiar scene for so many cat owners, isn't it? But like you said, and as the sources you shared point out, including that interesting YouTube transcript about sleeping cats, it's not just about finding a warm spot. There's like a whole hidden language going on.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to pull out the key insights from these sources. We want to get to the bottom of the, well, often surprising reasons for this common behavior. Understand why they're in our beds and maybe what those specific sleeping positions are trying to tell us.
Exactly, because when you really look into it, you find these layers of science and deep instinct and, frankly, a level of trust that's pretty profound. Get ready for maybe a few aha moments about your own furry co-sleeper.
So let's start right there. Why do they choose to sleep with us in the first place? The sources seem to really stress this is a powerful way cats deepen their bond with us. They mention these subtle signs like cats sometimes synchronizing their breathing with their owners when they're sleeping close.
Right, and that synchronicity, it's fascinating. It's like an echo of their wild ancestors. Wild cats, they'd often sleep together in groups for safety. So your modern bedroom, kind of surprisingly, becomes this echo of ancient habits all about security.
That's incredible. To think those nighttime cuddles are tapping into this deep ancestral need for connection and safety, it goes way beyond just daytime pats then.
And sharing body heat is a really big part of that. I mean, think about it. Sleep is when any creature, cats included, is most vulnerable. They only share that closeness, that warmth during that vulnerable time with those they trust completely. So when your cat curls up against you, they're basically saying, "You're in my trusted inner circle."
Wow. Okay, so beyond this deep bond, the sources point to some genuinely surprising impacts on us, on our lives. Specifically things like sleep quality and anxiety levels. There was that Mayo Clinic study mentioned August 2014 in Arizona, 6 months, 150 patients. What did that actually find about sleeping with cats?
Yeah, it showed some pretty unexpected positive results. A key finding was that 41% of the people in the study said they slept better specifically because their pet was there. The sources even tell the story about someone with insomnia whose sleep got significantly better just having their cat nearby at night.
And that makes you think immediately of the purr therapy effect, right? Which the sources cover.
Mm.
That sort of rhythmic purring, the vibration between 20 and 140 hertz. What's happening there?
That vibration range is so important. It's incredibly soothing for humans. It helps us relax, stay present. The sources describe it like a gentle anchor, pulling your focus from worries or stress, especially if you're just, lying there staring at the ceiling. It's not just pleasant. They mention therapy cats are actually trained for patients with PTSD, using that presence and purring for comfort during the night.
And the Mayo study backed up the mood benefits too, right? Finding lower stress and better mood in people sleeping with their cats.
Yeah, and the benefits, according to these sources, might even go beyond mood. There's this powerful story about a cat owner recovering from surgery. They felt less pain and thought their wound healed faster when the cat snuggled up close.
And there's actual science linking that purring vibration, that specific 2120 hertz range, to promoting healing in bones and tissues, like a little furry healing device.
Exactly. And maybe one of the most striking findings mentioned is from a long-term study, decades long. It suggested cat owners are 30% less likely to die from a heart attack or stroke compared to people without cats. I mean, put that way, having a cat nearby while you sleep could genuinely be, well, potentially life-saving.
Wow. Okay, from ancient security instincts to helping healing and heart health, that's an amazing range of benefits just from sharing your bed.
Yeah.
And then there's this connection to allergies that seems totally counterintuitive that the sources bring up,
Yes, like that story of the American family, history of allergies. They got two cats, and 5 years on, their child had no allergy signs at all.
which feels completely backwards to what most people think about cats and allergies.
It does, but the sources explain the thinking. Growing up with cats might actually make kids less likely to develop allergies and asthma later on. They call it almost like an allergy boot camp. That early exposure to fur and dander helps train the immune system, building tolerance, resilience. It kind of primes it in a good way.
It's really fascinating how something so simple, just a cat's presence, can have such wide-ranging effects. But of course, the sources are clear too. Not all cats choose to sleep with their humans.
That's a really important point. Yeah, some cats might just prefer other spots. Maybe it's territory or they're more independent. They could be out doing their crepuscular thing,
Mhm.
dusk and dawn hunting instincts kicking in, or maybe your routine, or even just you moving in bed is a bit overwhelming for them, like sensory overload. Sometimes it's just personal preference surface, smell, temperature, and sometimes it's practical, like health issues, arthritis maybe, making jumping up hard.
Understanding why some don't sleep with us makes it feel even more significant when they do choose your bed, doesn't it? It kind of elevates that choice.
Absolutely. And if your cat does decide to sleep with you, the sources really emphasize that where they sleep is a whole other level of communication. It's like a direct peek into the feline mind, telling you something specific about your bond, how they're feeling right then.
Okay, so let's try and decode some of these positions based on what the sources suggest. What are the general reasons they pick a certain spot near us?
Well, the sources list quite a few. First off, you're their emotional support human. Simple as that. You provide food, safety, security, and your scent is just deeply relaxing for them.
Right. And they might see you as meeting per protection.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. By sleeping close, marking you with their scent, historically, they'd be part of a group guard against danger. And that incredible story about Homer, the blind cat, attacking an intruder back in 2000, going for the face. It shows that protective instinct is still very real.
A really powerful example. And let's be honest, for many of us, we're just a human hot water bottle, right?
Definitely. Cats evolved in warmer places, they're masters at finding heat. Your body is a natural, efficient source.
Guilty as charged. My cat definitely uses me as a heater. And we can't forget the basic creature comforts of our beds.
True. They're soft, they're spacious, often have blankets, and importantly, they're high up. Being elevated feels safer, tapping into those old instincts of perching in trees, away from ground threats and keeping an eye on things.
Your consistent bedtime routine matters too, doesn't it?
Oh, hugely. Predictability is key for cats. When you start winding down, it signals a safe, quiet time. Perfect for a nap.
And ultimately, the sources kind of boil it down to feline friendship. Sleeping together, sharing that vulnerability. It shows they see you as part of their group.
Like that quote, it's the two of you against the world. Sharing sleep confirms that bond.
Okay, so with those reasons in mind, we can start looking at the specific spots. What about if they decide to camp out by your head? What's that about?
Sources suggest a few things here. Often it's just comfy. The pillow helps. It also puts them in a great spot to wake you easily if they want something food, cuddles, or maybe they sense something's off. But there's a nicer thought too. Maybe they just want to be close to the sound of your breathing. They find it soothing.
How about on your chest?
Yeah.
That's definitely close.
That's about as close as you can get, isn't it? They can hear your heartbeat, feel your chest rise and fall. That's deeply calming for them, helps them settle. Although we should mention, as the sources do, this can be, well, less comfortable for the human, especially with a heavier cat.
Agreed. Uh-huh. What if they wedge themselves between your legs?
Ah, maximum body heat for sure. And it makes them feel incredibly secure, almost like being in a den or a box. Totally protected on all sides, with your legs as barriers. Again, maybe not ideal for your sleep posture, but a clear sign they're seeking safety and warmth.
And the ones who burrow under the covers.
Warmth, definitely. Pure warmth is a big driver there. But also, being surrounded by your scent feels super safe and secure. It's like they're hiding, protected from the outside world, kind of like a kid pulling the blankets over their head.
I know my cold toes appreciate the cat who sleeps by your feet.
Classic hot water bottle move. Yeah, it's probably warmest down there for them. Maybe where you keep your feet warm anyway. Plus, that position lets them come and go easily without waking you up too much. Important, since cats nap differently than we do, shorter, more often. And it's often near the door, right? Easy escape route for a midnight patrol.
What if they're on the bed, but facing away from you? Are they mad at you?
A snub.
No, not at all. The sources are clear. That's actually a sign of high trust. Turning their back means they feel totally safe. They don't see you as a threat. If they're pressed against your back, they're literally watching your back, trusting you to watch theirs. It's profound, that mutual trust.
Oh, wow, okay. And the ultimate, maybe, in your arms.
Yeah, that's not really a natural sleeping position for a cat. So if they seek that out or allow it, that's a huge sign of deep love and trust. They get all the good stuff, warmth, heartbeat, breathing, scent, and feel incredibly safe knowing their human is right there, relaxed and holding them. Requires a lot of comfort with you.
The sources mention other positions too, just briefly. Like curled in a ball. Right, usually for warmth, protecting organs. Could mean less trust if it's not cold out. Then there's flat on their belly, or Superman style.
Cooling down.
Exactly. Or the loaf position.
Warm, but ready to move, maybe not fully relaxed.
Precisely. On their side means safe, relaxed, on their back.
The ultimate vulnerability. Total trust.
Absolutely. And then just looking like liquid because they're so flexible, being high up for safety or the classic if I fits, as I sits in any box, even on the bed, seeking that security.
But there's one position the sources really flag as a concern. Sleeping in the litter box.
Yes, definitely. That is not normal. It's a potential red flag for illness. They really stress looking for other signs, not using the box properly, off their food, hiding more, signs of pain, and strongly urge a vet visit if you see this. I mean, sometimes it might just be the box appeal, but it's unhygienic anyway and needs checking out.
So boiling it down, when a cat chooses to sleep right on you or snuggle up close, they're basically saying, I trust you completely with my safety.
That's exactly the heart of it. They're choosing their most vulnerable state, sleep, right next to you. Because they feel safe, they love you, they've chosen you as their protector.
Yeah.
That closeness says so much about how they feel about you.
And if they sleep somewhere else in the house, does that mean they don't trust you or love you as much?
Not at all. The sources make that clear. It just means they have different needs or preferences at that moment. Like if they start close but move away, often just normal cat behavior, they move more at night, wake up when you shift, stretch, maybe come back later, the floor by the bed. Could be respecting your space, wanting to be cooler, or valuing a bit of independence.
By a doorway?
Might be taking on a watchful role, showing loyalty, their own bed, that's healthy independence, feeling secure on their own.
Under furniture.
Seeking that den-like security, comfort, maybe managing anxiety or just preferring the temperature or quietness there. But, and this is important, sudden new hiding under furniture, like the litter box thing, can signal illness.
Right.
Worth a vet check.
Right. And the living room couch.
Maybe just wanting to be part of the family vibe, even when everyone's asleep, and sleeping in lots of different spots. Just curiosity, vigilance, finding the best spot based on temperature, noise, light. They're adaptable.
This decoding is incredibly helpful. But as any cat owner knows, sharing a bed isn't always just sweet cuddles and trust signals. There can be challenges, like is it actually safe to sleep with a cat?
Yeah, the sources tackle that practical worry. For the cat's safety, they mention cat expert Mikkel Delgado. He apparently said he's never heard of anyone crushing their cat while sleeping. The logic is simple. Cats are super alert, even asleep. They'll move instantly if they feel uncomfortable pressure. The main advice is just maybe avoid co-sleeping with tiny fragile kittens. But adults, older kittens, generally fine.
Okay, that's good to know for the cat's sake. What about for us, besides, a dead arm in the morning?
Well, experts generally agree the positives usually outweigh the negatives for most people. Like we talked about, the relaxation can help you fall asleep faster. And yes, they can be disruptive waking you, hogging space. But a 2018 study suggests they're not necessarily more disruptive than, say, a human partner.
Okay, that puts a 2 a.m. paw to the face in perspective, maybe. But speaking of that,
Yeah.
why do they insist on waking us up at like 2 or 4 in the morning, the wee hours?
The infamous feline alarm clock, yes. The sources give several possible reasons. One is just basic instinct, their hunting habits. Cats are crepuscular, most active at dusk and dawn. It's hardwired from when their ancestors hunted then.
Right, their internal clock doesn't know about kibble schedules.
Exactly. Second, could just be hunger. Cats love routine. If they've learned that meowing or pawing gets breakfast served, they'll try it. 4 a.m., 7 a.m., it's all hungry time to them. You can definitely feel like they're training us sometime.
Oh, they absolutely are. What else?
Third, boredom. Especially for indoor cats maybe not getting enough stimulation during the day. The sources call them almost like babies. They hate being bored, so they wake up, want interaction. Fourth, maybe just a disturbed sleep cycle. Like us, their rhythms can get thrown off. Fifth, and this is crucial, especially in older cats, a new habit of waking early could signal a health problem. If your senior cat suddenly starts this, the sources strongly advise talking to your vet. Rule out anything medical first. And sixth, maybe just the environment. Something subtle disturbing their sleep spot, outside noise, the heating kicking on, a light change you haven't noticed. Worth checking their sleeping area.
Okay, so we get why they might be doing it. What practical tips do the sources offer for actually, managing those pre-dawn wake-up calls?
Right, the solutions. For hunger, try feeding them right before you go to bed. Maybe make that last meal a bit bigger. Cats often sleep soundly after eating.
And for boredom.
More mental stimulation and playtime during the day is key. Especially having a good, energetic play session right before bedtime can really help tire them out.
Okay. Any other general strategies?
Yes. Make their designated sleeping spot, if it's not your bed, really cozy and inviting. That encourages them to stay there, even if they wake up briefly. And this one's tough love, but the sources say you have to ignore them when they try the early wake up. Any attention, even negative attention like Yelling reinforces the behavior. Ignoring them teaches them eventually that you're not available then.
The silent treatment. Hard, but maybe necessary.
It can be very effective, just needs consistency. And finally, enforce a routine. Cats thrive on predictability. Regular feeding time, set play times, a consistent bedtime routine. It all helps train their internal clock and makes them more likely to accept that 4 a.m. is not playtime or breakfast time.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. We've covered everything from, well, ancient instincts to modern health perks, the practicalities and challenges, and most importantly, I think, how our cats use this simple act of sleeping near us to communicate trust, safety, and affection.
Exactly. Understanding these signals, it really does more than just satisfy curiosity. It can genuinely deepen your appreciation for that complex, really special bond between humans and cats. It's not just them seeking comfort, it's a profound statement about your relationship.
So next time your cat is curled up beside you, maybe take a moment. Consider all those layers, the instinct, the trust, the affection, packed into that simple shape. What specific message do you think their chosen position is sending you right then? And how does knowing all this maybe change how you see them there in your bed?